Gautama Buddha, From Birth to Nirvana. Introduction. Gautama Buddha, also known as Siddhartha. Gautama Shakyamuni Buddha, or simply the Buddha, was the founder of Buddhism and is considered one of the most influential spiritual leaders in world history. His teachings have inspired millions across centuries, emphasizing the path to enlightenment through ethics, meditation, and wisdom. This comprehensive narrative spans his birth, enlightenment, teachings, and eventual death, highlighting key moments and lessons from his life. Birth and early life. Birth in Lumbini. Gautama Buddha was born around 563 BCE in Lumbini, which is located in present-day Nepal. His father, King Suddhodana, was the ruler of the Shakya clan, and his mother, Queen Maya, was a Kolyan princess. Legend has it that Queen Maya had a dream in which a white elephant with 6 tusks entered her right side, a sign interpreted by the Brahmins to mean that the child to be born would either become a great king or a revered spiritual leader. On the night of his birth, Queen Maya gave birth to Siddhartha in the Lumbini garden while en route to her parental home. The child was named Siddhartha, meaning one who achieves his aim. Childhood in Kapilavastu. Siddhartha was raised in the palace in Kapilavastu, shielded from the outside world and its sufferings. His father, King Suddhodana, was determined to prevent Siddhartha from becoming a spiritual leader, as predicted, and wanted him to become a great king instead. Thus, Siddhartha was provided with every luxury and pleasure to keep him content within the palace walls. The 4 sights. At the age of 29, Siddhartha ventured outside the palace for the first time. On these excursions, he encountered 4 sights that profoundly affected him: an old man, a sick man, a dead man, and an ascetic monk. These sights exposed him to the realities of aging, illness, death, and the pursuit of a higher spiritual path. Deeply moved by these revelations, Siddhartha began to question the transient nature of life and the inevitability of suffering. The quest for enlightenment. Renunciation. Determined to find a solution to the problem of human suffering, Siddhartha renounced his royal life and left the palace. This moment is known as the Great Renunciation. He cut off his hair, donned the robes of an ascetic, and began his quest for spiritual enlightenment. Years of asceticism. Siddhartha initially sought guidance from various teachers and practiced severe asceticism, believing that self-mortification would lead to enlightenment. He joined a group of 5 ascetics and engaged in extreme practices, including prolonged fasting and breath control. Despite his dedication, Siddhartha realized that these practices were not bringing him closer to his goal. The middle way. One day, after nearly starving himself to death, Siddhartha accepted a bowl of rice milk from a young girl named Sujata. This act of nourishment led him to the realization that neither extreme self-indulgence nor extreme asceticism was the path to enlightenment. Instead, he advocated for a balanced approach, which he called the middle way. Enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. Siddhartha sat under a Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, vowing not to rise until he attained enlightenment. He meditated for 49 days, during which he faced and overcame various temptations and challenges posed by Mara, the demon of illusion. Finally, on the full moon of Vesak, Siddhartha attained Nirvana, becoming the Buddha, the enlightened one. He realized the 4 noble truths and the noble Eightfold Path, which form the core of his teachings. Teaching the Dharma, the first sermon. After his enlightenment, Buddha traveled to Sarnath, where he delivered his first sermon to the 5 ascetics who had previously abandoned him. This sermon, known as the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, or Setting in Motion the Wheel of Dharma, introduced the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. These teachings laid the foundation for Buddhism. The Four Noble Truths. 1. The truth of suffering, dukkha. Life is characterized by suffering, dissatisfaction, and impermanence. 2. The truth of the cause of suffering, samudaya. Suffering is caused by desire, attachment, and ignorance. 3. The truth of the end of suffering, nirodha. It is possible to end suffering by eliminating its causes. 4. The truth of the path to the end of suffering, magga. The Noble Eightfold Path provides the means to achieve the cessation of suffering. The Noble Eightfold Path. 1. Right understanding comprehending the Four Noble Truths. 2. Right intention, cultivating thoughts of renunciation, goodwill, and harmlessness. 3. Right speech, speaking truthfully, kindly, and beneficially. 4. Right action, acting ethically and morally. 5. Right livelihood, earning a living in a way that does not harm others. 6. Right effort, cultivating positive states of mind and eliminating negative ones. 7. Right mindfulness, developing awareness of the body, feelings, mind, and mental phenomena. 8. Right concentration, developing deep states of meditation or samadhi, spreading the teachings. For the next 45 years, Buddha traveled across the Ganges plain, teaching his Dharma, the universal truth, to all who would listen. He established a monastic community known as the Sangha, composed of monks and nuns who dedicated their lives to practicing and spreading his teachings. The Sangha played a crucial role in preserving and disseminating Buddha's teachings after his death. Key events and teachings. Converting key disciples. Buddha's early disciples included notable figures such as Sariputta and Moggallana, who were initially followers of another ascetic but converted to Buddhism after encountering Buddha. These disciples became prominent teachers within the Buddhist community. The story of Angulimala. One of the most compelling stories from Buddha's life involves the transformation of Angulimala, a feared bandit. Buddha's compassion and wisdom led Angulimala to abandon his violent ways and become a devoted follower, exemplifying the transformative power of Buddha's teachings. Teaching women. Buddha's aunt and foster mother, Mahapajapati Gotami, requested to join the Sangha, leading to the establishment of the Order of Nuns, Bhikkhuni Sangha. This was a significant step in promoting the spiritual equality of women, although the Order of Nuns faced stricter rules than the monks. The Lotus Sutra and Universal Compassion Buddha's teachings evolved to include the Mahayana tradition, which emphasizes universal compassion and the aspiration to achieve Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. The Lotus Sutra, one of the key texts in Mahayana Buddhism, highlights the importance of the Bodhisattva path, where individuals strive to attain enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. Parinirvana. At the age of 80, Buddha fell seriously ill after eating a meal offered by a blacksmith named Kunda. Despite his illness, he continued to teach his followers, emphasizing the importance of self-reliance and the transient nature of all things. Buddha passed away in Kushinagar, attaining parinirvana, a state beyond the cycle of birth and death. Legacy and impact. The spread of Buddhism. After Buddha's death, his teachings spread across Asia and eventually the world. Buddhism evolved into various schools and traditions, including Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana, each interpreting and practicing his teachings in unique ways. The importance of the Sangha. The monastic community played a vital role in preserving Buddha's teachings. The Tripitaka, Pali Canon, a collection of scriptures, was compiled by Buddha's disciples and remains a foundational text for Buddhists. Global influence Buddha's teachings have had a profound impact on philosophy, ethics, and spirituality worldwide. His emphasis on compassion, mindfulness, and wisdom continues to inspire individuals and communities seeking a path to inner peace and enlightenment. Conclusion. Gautama Buddha's life, from his birth in Lumbini to his enlightenment under the Bodhi tree and his eventual parinirvana, is a journey of profound spiritual significance. His teachings on the Four Noble Truths, the Noble Eightfold Path, and the Middle Way offer timeless wisdom on overcoming suffering and achieving inner peace. Buddha's legacy endures, guiding millions on the path to enlightenment and compassionate living. For further reading and a deeper understanding of Buddha's life and teachings, explore texts such as The Life of the Buddha by Bhikkhu Nanamoli, Old Path White Clouds by Thich Nhat Hanh, and the Pali Canon. These resources provide comprehensive insights into the extraordinary life and enduring wisdom of Gautama Buddha.